A winning month like this has been a long time coming. So this October, I've passed one phase on all of my challenges. So I've brought my 300k Funded Engineer challenge to phase 2, my two 200k Smart Prop Trader challenges to phase 2, and I passed my E8 250k challenge. So I've got a live 250k account with E8 funding now. And I even got a payout on my small 100k 5%ers account, which I never talk about because 5%ers only have 4% max drawdown, so I have to do 0.2% risk. So I'll make a proper video about my new E8 account and maybe even my 5% payout later this month, and if I pass my other challenges, I'll make videos about those prop firms too. So you may have noticed that I didn't upload a recap for September, and that's because I only took one trade. I actually made a YouTube post about this instead, but because most of you probably didn't see that YouTube post, I'll touch on that September trade at the end of this video after I go through all the October trades. So this month I took 8 trades which generated 16.04% profit. I'll go over these trades now. Okay, so the first trade I took this month was on EJ. So this was a 1% loss, but I would take this again over and over again. So I'd actually started using a 9 pip stop loss by this point, so I think I was just tagged out, but it did end up continuing for those that were using 12 pip stop loss. I'm completely okay with this though, because I know now 9 pip stop loss over a large sample size will produce more profit in my backtesting data, so I'm not really too bothered about being tagged out by that small amount. A bit annoying because this was one of the first trades I started using 9 pips, but again, I'm completely happy with using 9 pips. So prior price action here, coming from an ascending channel, we had a really nice established trend, strong impulsive breaks, and look at those pullback candles. Price couldn't pull back at all. We had huge wicks to the upside, and then the next candle didn't break by much, but on EJ this is enough for me. I know on EJ I'm really happy to take smaller breaks if the pullback candle is really good, and prior price action was great here as well. So even on a Monday I was willing to tolerate a smaller break like this here. So yeah, there we go. That's the first trade. That was a negative 1% loss. So the second trade I took this month was on GU. So this was a continuation around the same time as EU. Looking at prior price action, it is kind of moving from ascending to descending. I guess the ascending's a bit bigger, so you could expect price to just generally move down at some point. This isn't really descending, it's more just range bound, but again, the emphasis isn't on prior price action so much because this is what's looking good. This established trend right here, we're moving down, not a big amount for GU, but these pullback candles are so nice. Look how they're trying to pull back in one candle, huge wick to the upside, and then continuing with 2 really impulsive candles. Same again, we moved up, huge wick, and carried on, and we broke the low with a solid close. So this trade was a no-brainer for me, and I just stayed in. I think I stayed in by like how much, like half a pip or something, maybe less, and this was with the 9 pip stop loss as well, so I actually got 3.92% profit on this trade. I did also take a scale in. This is the only trade I probably wouldn't take again this month, just because on my phone this looked a lot more impulsive, but in reality we are very much descending here. This leg is showing a slowdown. I'm expecting a break and retrace. I'm not expecting price to continue, so I wouldn't take that scale in again. But yeah, nice 3.92% profit with a 1% loss. So this is the fourth trade I took this month. This was on NJ. So again, I'm kind of seeing a larger trending market. You could say at the top here there's a V followed by a range, but that's kind of in the back of my mind. I'm mainly looking at this huge established trend. So we know that these JPY pairs like to trend correctively, so I'm not too concerned about the breaks showing a slowdown when the pullbacks are showing no shift, because price can move like this for a long time, so I'm not really too fussed about that. But obviously to get an entry I do need quite strong breaks, which is what we started seeing at this point. So this was a nice 2 or 3 candle break, 1 candle pullback again, so no shift, and then we broke the low with a really nice candle. I don't think I set my order after that 1 candle, did I? There was a bit of a medium wick, I'd say. I think I did, if I recall correctly. I think I did set my order on the line, and then as price continued with a second candle and a really nice close, I moved my order 2 pips below. I don't really mind an engulfing pullback on this pair as long as it isn't too engulfing. So this, I knew if I would be tagged in, it wouldn't really show me a shift in the context of the whole move. So I wasn't really bothered about a bit of an aggressive retrace, even though it is a Tuesday. So I think that's why most people stayed out. They didn't want an aggressive retrace on a Tuesday. But I did manage to reduce my risk basically immediately, but then I was tagged out on the next candle. So I think this was a negative 0.47% loss, which is quite good considering everything. I think price did continue down a little bit more. Well, kind of, you would have been tagged that a second time anyway. But yeah, that was the fourth trade, negative 0.47%. So this is the fifth trade that I took this month, and it was really, really high probability. I knew this trade was going to go. Like, I was very confident in this trade. So I think it was on a Tuesday afternoon. Yeah, so about 2 weeks have passed since the NJ trade. This was on October 24th. So we're coming from a really nice ascending channel, and we had a very strong break. So immediately prior price action is very high probability. We had a single candle pullback, just barely. I think it was a tick, 0.2 pips counter trend, so I was barely able to get involved in this trade. The break was quite small, especially for a Tuesday, but considering everything else, this was so worth it. Price just continued down. I was quite surprised. It just kept on going. It did kind of start descending, and I think it did reverse in the end. But yeah, I was able to reduce my risk, lock in profit there, and then here, and finally here, and then I was tagged out on the next candle, I believe. Yeah, so that was 7.73% profit. So this is the sixth trade I took this month now. This was on a early Wednesday morning. We're coming from a really nice ascending channel. I'd even say a smaller within a larger ascending. We had really nice breaks, no shifts in the pullback. And yeah, I was really happy to take this flag. So I think warning signs in this flag, there was kind of a bit of a slowdown towards the end. If you look at how these candles were coming down, this last candle was quite solid though, so I didn't really mind taking it. These were the candles showing a slowdown, these three, 1, 2, 3. And this last candle closed with not much wick for JPY pair, so I was quite happy taking this. I think some people were hesitant to take this trade because of this pullback, but compared to the impulse, it doesn't really show a shift to me, and I think most people would be surprised if I inverted this chart. I think it looks a lot better inverted. Some people see buys better than sells, but yeah, I think this flag was well worth it, and the slowdown was the only really negative going for it, because that first retrace didn't show me a shift at all. I get that they weren't kind of counter trend, they were all bullish candles, but they were all small and showed me no shift. So yeah, I was happy to take this trade, and this trade resulted in a 1% loss. It carried on going until just before London Open, and then it dropped. So something to look into, I suppose. So this is the seventh trade I took this month. This was on GU. You can see prior price action is quite similar to EU, ascending channel, strong break. I think the continuation on EU was around here. On GU, this candle wasn't counter trend, so you wouldn't have been able to enter anyway, but a flag setup formed later on. So main flaws of this trade, I'd say probably the slowdown here and the way that we broke the bomb high with several small candles, a little bit like what I was saying with the EJ flag. So although we broke the high and continued, we didn't continue by much. This shows me weakness because price is struggling to move up. If I were to see these candles getting bigger and bigger, then I might consider this a bit of a warning sign. I think if you're looking from your phone, it would look a bit like this. I can see why that would deter you, but for me, this was a very flat flag, and I was happy to take it. So I did wake up a bit later, but price was around a similar level just before London Open, so I was happy to enter at a slightly worse price. And with my 9 pip stop loss, this banked 8.83%. So I think I was just barely able to reduce my risk there, and then I locked in profit here, here, and finally here. So there you go. So the last trade I took this month was on AU. So this is more of a pair that trends correctively, like I was describing with NJ earlier. So you could kind of say we're coming from an ascending channel, but I'm not really focused on that. I'm looking at this here. So I'm focusing on how the legs are breaking with momentum, and we're seeing no shift in the pullbacks. So although we are breaking and retracing, because they're like 1 or 2 candle breaks, I'm seeing strong breaks and weak pullbacks, which tells me that price wants to move down. So at this point, we had a 1 candle pullback, we had a nice break, and I was more than happy to set my order. And you can see price was running in profit for a while, but it did in the end come back to reverse. So maybe I should be more wary of these setups in the future, look for 2 candle breaks, that kind of thing, because this did end up reversing. This may have something to do with a larger liquidity area looking left, but for me, I was happy to take this trade, and I'd probably take it again. So that's the last trade I took this month. Okay, so here's the trade that I took in September that I made a YouTube post about. So this trade, seeing a big V, nice range and a continuation of the second leg, so price action is quite high probability. This was on a Tuesday morning, which it makes it a little bit of a weaker trade. There are kind of triple wicks here, so I maybe should have been more cautious of a break below this area, but considering price action, I was quite happy to take this even with a smaller break. So price just tugged me in because I had my order 1 pip below the inside bar, and then price took me out in the next candle, and I think we just ranged after that. So yeah, I'm quite happy with this trade. Maybe I would want a stronger break next time. But yeah, I still quite like this trade. Price action was really good. Thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. Comment with this emoji to show me that you made it to the end. Please leave a comment down below. I'll respond to every comment. And if you have any questions or any queries, I'm offering coaching calls if that's something that might interest you. Make sure to like and subscribe to this video, and I'll see you next week. Thank you again.